PureOS 10.3 Byzantium has been benchmarked. This Linux distribution is one of the very few that the Free Software Foundation recommends. There aren't many. This is something that I was recommending up to a point if you wanted something that was like FSF certified. Let's see how it's ranked now with the benchmark and their software. And we go. It is using the Gnome desktop environment. And there we are, PureOS. So there are definitely worse options if you want to run the Gnome operating system. But this is the challenging part here. It's using a 3-year-old version of Gnome. It's hard to recommend an operating system that bundles software that is so old. This is Gnome 3.38. So this is before they updated to the new 40 series, I guess. This is very old. The window manager is also old, the same 3 years old, and the display manager is 4 years old. So yeah, not great. This operating system I can't recommend anymore because of how old this software is. And when they bundled this old software was in 2023. So their operating system, their release cycle is no longer up to date. So yeah, not great. And for these old versions of software, 820 megs of RAM. If you run Gnome, you can run on Alpine 556 megs of RAM. So this is the next worst after, but definitely not as bad as any of these. We're not running Fedora here. But yeah, 820 megs of RAM. The system load, I don't know why it's high at 1. It could be 0.48. 4 gigs of that free software goodness. It could be 1.8 gigs. And then a slow reboot time of 24 seconds. So unfortunately, I tested this and I was considering it to be listed as one of the sort of exceptions where the operating system isn't updated annually. But because the software is so old and not updated, it's going to be a pass. So unfortunately, PureOS is not recommended. It's shown here right now, but if you check the website now, everybytecounts.org, this will not be listed anymore. Maybe if they release a new version, 10.4 or 11, and everything is up to date, that could get listed again. But currently, this is not something that can be recommended. I mean, anything that's listed on everybytecounts.org that does not perform as well as Hannah Montana Linux version 2 from 2009, like all of these, I can't recommend. 1, for performance. 2, for the outdated software. I mean, you have exceptions where the software is up to date, but it's not worth it when it comes to the performance. Considering all these options, if you run it on Alpine, it's generally the best option. You want your desktop environment to be performing better than Hannah Montana Linux. And there are plenty of options available running Wayland or X11 PureOS. Richard Stallman, please. The purest of operating systems and Free Software Foundation approved shall now commence a restart. We've got a logo so that you're certain of the purity of your OS. And we're decrypting our locker, our crypt setup. It was set up successfully, but there's no further log output. That's all you need to know when you're this pure. Thanks, Mr. Stallman. This is what we needed.
Ah, good evening, sir. Can I interest you in a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?